Hey guys, I'm Nina with Paint the Kitchen Red, and I'm guessing you're here because you got a brand new Instant Pot and you were all excited about making a recipe and you got the burn message. I'm here to help you figure out why you're getting the burn message and also salvage the meal that you're making right now. First thing you want to do is press cancel. And then we're going to open the lid. Watch out for any steam. You're going to take the contents of your inner pot and empty it into a container or bowl, and then clean the inner pot. Put the food back in with some extra liquid. Now, the reason you're adding extra liquid is because you probably lost some liquid due to evaporation during the burn message. And also it's possible that you had not enough liquid for your recipe. So I would just add extra liquid just to be safe and then continue cooking like you did before. You may have to reduce the time for cooking because it may have already partially cooked. Now I just want to take a minute to show you how to clean the inner pot. So if you get the burn error, most likely after you take your food out, the inner pot is going to be really a mess because there's going to be a lot of burnt food stuck on the bottom. You could just wash it in the sink, but I'm going to show you a way where you can get it clean pretty quickly and pretty easily. So the first thing you want to do is, if the Instant Pot is not super hot, you want to select the saute mode and get the inner pot to be really hot. Add some hot water to the inner pot and really scrape it well. So watch out for the steam. So you want to scrape it really well and all the brown bits should come loose, and then you can go ahead and wash it in the sink. This is basically deglazing. You'll hear this word a lot in Instant Pot cooking, and that's really the technique of putting water into a hot pan and getting all the brown bits out. In normal circumstances, the food isn't burnt, so those brown bits are really tasty and they add to the flavor of the dish. Okay, now let's talk about why you're getting the burn message and what you can do to avoid the problem in the future. So the first reason why you may be getting the burn error is that your sealing ring may be missing. You may have washed it in the dishwasher and forgot to put it back in. It's also possible that the sealing ring is damaged, in which case you may need to get a new sealing ring, or that it's gotten a bit stretched out. That happens sometimes when I'm cooking things back to back. My sealing ring becomes kind of stretched out and loose, and what you can do is just stick it in the freezer for a couple of minutes and it just gets back into shape. Another thing that's possible is you may have not pushed the sealing ring all the way in. It needs to be pushed in all the way around. Sometimes part of it is sticking up, and that can cause you to have sealing problems. The second reason why your Instant Pot may be giving you the burn error is that your steam release handle is not in the sealing position. This is an Ultra, and I don't usually have that problem with this model because it has a self-sealing mechanism, and so it just seals itself when you close the lid. Once in a while the button gets stuck, but it's not usually an issue. But if you have any of the other models like the Duo or the Luxe, your lid probably looks like similar to this, and you need to have the steam release handle in the sealing position. Reason number 3 is you didn't put enough liquid into your inner pot. So when you're cooking a recipe, you need to make sure you have the minimum quantity of liquid that is recommended for that Instant Pot, especially when you're starting out. If you're starting out, I would suggest you start out with recipes that have a lot of liquid, like soups and stews, recipes like that, because then the chances of getting a burn error are much less. And then once you get used to cooking in the Instant Pot, it'll be easier for you to reduce the amount of liquid based on how your Instant Pot works, because they can all be a little different. The fourth reason you may be getting a burn error is you didn't deglaze after sauteing. If you use the saute function to saute onions and meats and things like that, you will have some crispy bits stuck on the bottom of the inner pot. If you go directly to pressure cooking after that, it's possible that the sensors can't detect what's happening inside the inner pot because too much of the bottom of the inner pot is covered by crusty bits. So after you're done sauteing, you want to deglaze, and deglazing, as I mentioned earlier, is just putting small amounts of liquid into the hot inner pot and scraping it up so that all the little bits come loose and get incorporated into your dish. Reason number 5 for getting the burn message is that you're using some tricky ingredients. There are some ingredients that are really tricky when it comes to pressure cooking in general, not just for the Instant Pot. These include starchy ingredients like pasta, polenta, rice, oatmeal, things like that, things that get kind of mushy and goopy and can stick to the bottom. And also dense sauces like tomato sauce, tomato paste, Alfredo sauce that you get in a jar, anything that has flour, cornstarch, things like that. So these types of ingredients can stick to the bottom, and then what happens is you get a coating on the bottom of the inner pot and your sensors go crazy and they can't detect what's happening. So you get the burn message. So what do you do in these cases, because you want to be able to cook with these ingredients? Well, you use a technique called layering, and that is where you take your vegetables and your meats, your broth, and those go on the bottom. And these kinds of ingredients, like rice and pasta and tomato sauce, go on top. Now, when you put those ingredients in, you don't want to stir. You just want to put them in on top and kind of push down with a spatula and then pressure cook. So what happens is when the Instant Pot heats up, those ingredients are not touching the bottom, they don't burn, and so then you don't get this burn message. The next reason for getting the burn error could be that your Instant Pot is too hot after you use the saute function. So if you're doing saute and then you go immediately to pressure cooking, what I suggest is, if you're getting burn error a lot, is to let the Instant Pot cool down a little bit and see if that helps you. This is just something that I discovered on my own. It's not from the Instant Pot company or anything, but I found that if I let my Instant Pot cool down a little bit, then my chances of getting the burn error are much less. So what you would do is you can just take the inner pot out and put it on a placemat or a trivet and allow it to cool down, and put it back in afterwards. The final reason why you are getting a burn message is that you may be using a recipe that was written for a different size and model of Instant Pot, and that can make a difference. For example, if you have an 8-quart and somebody's written a recipe for a 6-quart and the amount of liquid is, a cup or 3/4 of a cup, that may be too little for your 8-quart. It may work for the 6-quart, but not for the 8-quart. So what I suggest in those cases is that you double the recipe. So then you are doubling the liquid and you may not have that problem. If you continue getting the burn message and you've made sure that your sealing ring is in properly, your steam release handle is in the right position, and you're following all the things that I talked about earlier, and you still keep getting the burn error, it's possible you need to contact the Instant Pot company. They have a support ticket system so you can create a ticket and have them help you out. And the website is support.instantpot.com. And so that might be your best bet. I hope this video has helped you out. Please visit my website, paintthekitchenred.com, where I have recipes with step-by-step instructions and photographs and lots of tips.